Hey, what's up, family? Got an educational one for you today for thinkers. Want to make you guys think more often, right? So I'm going to title this video something that you may or may not have been asked before when referring to books. And that is the title of this video. And that is, what's your favorite book? That's going to be the title of the video. What's your favorite book? Now, before I get into that, as always, you know I love to give you a word of the day, but instead of giving you a word of the day, remember, said video for thinkers. We're going to give you a statement that you may have heard or may not, maybe in a movie or somewhere, but you have heard it and you ever thought about it. Sometimes you hear these words all the time, but it ain't until somebody that's of relevance in your life say it to you. Now that they said it to you, now when you're watching that movie, you out and about, at work, wherever, now it seems like you hear that word all the time. No, you've always heard it. You just didn't pay attention to it until somebody else of relevance said it to you. And here's that statement, a loaded question. So when I say the title of the video, what's your favorite book? When someone asks me that, because I've had that asked to me many times before. Someone say, hey man, oh, you do a lot of reading. What's your favorite book? When they say that to me, I know, to me in my head, I say, that's a loaded question. See, that's going to be the statement, not a word of the day, but a statement, a loaded question. So when you look up the word loaded question, you know what it really means? It's like when someone's asking you, it's like being sneaky. It's like when someone's asking you something with a hidden agenda behind it. It's like someone asking you something to get, they already got a pre-assumption of what they already know the answer is, like rhetorical, but they asking you without obviously asking you. You know what I'm saying? It's like they being sneaky. They ask you this because they really want to know that, because they want to know how's your outcome of that, right? So that's what, when someone says, man, that's a loaded question. All right, let me give you a better way to put it. Every parent out there know what this one is of a loaded question, especially when you got kids. This will make y'all understand what loaded question means a little bit more. Every parent know this one when you're talking to your teenage children, right? Because remember, our teenage children, they know everything, right? How many times we had to say this to our teenage children? Oh, so you went and drove the car anyway, right? I told you not to drive it. Now I got scratches and dents all over it. All right, what happened? And then they go, all right, I'm gonna tell you the truth, Mom. And then that's when you go, okay, so you're not gonna lie this time, huh? So that's what you're telling me? So you're not gonna lie this time? So you're gonna actually tell me the truth this time? See, that's a loaded question. So you're gonna actually tell the truth this time? That's what you're saying? That's a loaded question. The parent already know the answer, but it's like asking you in a way without blatantly asking you. You get what I'm saying? So now, back to the books. What is your favorite book? Like I said, when people ask me that, I look at it as a loaded question because it's like, I could never give anyone what is my favorite book because there are so many. I have read so many books that, wow, this was amazing. Ooh, man, I love this book right here. This book was incredible. Man, oh, I love that one. I love this one. This touches on real stuff I've been through. This touched on something that I know this other person been through. Oh, I seen a movie of that book. Oh man, I know somebody's going through that. Oh, you know what? I could give an advice to somebody about this book because it touched on something they're dealing with. So therefore, I can never tell somebody, oh, this is my favorite book. That is my favorite book. No. Hey, do you like books about, like I'll just give you a prime example. Do you like books about family? I can give you plenty of books about family. This is a great book about a family. How they went through a lot of trials and tribulations within the family, and then their father passed away, and they had to say their last words to their father before he passed. So I'll just go through a whole bunch for you. Married Men by Carl Weber. This is a book about 4 friends, men, that's all married, and they all go through their trials and tribulations with each other and with their wives. Loose lips sink ships type of stuff. The Art of War. What do you do physically and mentally when you're in battle? Our Skin. This is a great book to teach with your kids about racial stuff, how to deal with it, and how it comes about type of stuff. I can just go through a whole bunch of them. One of my favorite authors, David Baldacci. That was a great book about in North Korea, all the nonsense that go on that will blow your mind. We did a video on this already, and it's called just that, The Target book review. Stuff that'll blow your mind. You will have no clue how people live over there in North Korea, how they have only one channel to watch on TV. See, you're blessed but you can watch so many channels. They don't get internet access like you do. If you gotta praise Kim Jong-un and his family all the time, even that large statue that they got over there. And if you don't, it's a crime. You imagine that? But we go on and on. We got God Don't Like Ugly. Oh, Eric Jerome Dickey. We got The Pale Horse, 48 Laws of Power. Oh, I love that book. I read that over and over and over again. Michael Baisden, Men Cry in the Dark. Look at this. People's History of the United States. Woo! You want to get in some deep stuff? That's a real good book. You want to get in some gangster type of book? Bishop. Man, this is a page turner. So there's another one up here. Wolf Trap. Woo! So my point is, when someone asks me, what is my favorite book? I can never give you a definitive answer. I really look at it like it's a loaded question. Like, what is your agenda? Why is you even asking me that? You're trying to get a rise in me. You're trying to fill me out. So you already got your assumptions, or you may or may not even read. You're trying to figure something else out about me. It's almost like going on a job interview. And the guy that's interviewing you, or woman, then asks you where you live, do you got a car, how's your credit, what was your last job experience? All that's standard, right? But then the interview is pretty much over, and now the guy may ask, oh, that reminds me of this book I read, blah, 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 this time, and this and that. Hey, by the way, do you read? Don't ever put your foot in your mouth and lie about something that now you got to defend. When you got to defend a lie, you're going to make yourself look foolish. See, it's nothing hard about remembering the truth, but when you got to defend a lie, you got to remember that. What did I say last time? So could you imagine in that interview, all the standard questions been asked, and now the guy says, or the woman says, hey, do you read? And then you sit there and go, oh yeah, I read all the time, man. I read a lot of books. Then the guy or the woman says, oh, that's wonderful. What's your favorite book? See?
It's just like when they ask, what's your favorite movie? Or
great point. What's your favorite movie? I got so many movies that I love. I could never tell you particularly one movie. No. Do you like, the movie. Do you like a movie about family? You like comedy? You like action? There's so many different things. Same thing with books. So when someone say, what's your favorite book? I can never give a definitive. But back to my point with that interview, right? So now if you say to the guy, I read a lot of books. Yeah, I read. Now the guy go, what's your favorite book? And now you sitting there like Ralph Cramden. No. And then if you even name something, now the person asks you, oh, what did you think about the chapter about this? Because I read that book too. See? Don't make yourself look like a fool. Remember, those are loaded questions. See, the interview probably been going okay. Interview was pretty much over. But you sat there and told a bold lie that the guy know you telling a lie, or the woman. So they give you what's called a loaded question. They already know the answer, but they don't want to ask this particular question. And the real question is, man, you lying. So they ask another question, so it's not obvious of the real question they want to ask you. It's a loaded question. It's almost rhetorical. I want to see how you respond to this one. But ultimately what I'm saying, what is your favorite book? Like I said, we can go through these all again. You like drama? You like more drama? You like clandestine? Clandestine is a big word meaning secrecy. Do you like historical stuff? The Color of Law. How they did black people so wrong with so many different things. Do you like other historical stuff? The Conspiracy to Destroy Black Bush. Oh, we did a video on this. It's called just that. Dr. Jawanja Kajufu. Do you like gangster books? Do you like history books? You know, this Booker T. Washington? Do you like drama, clandestine, documentary, history all in one? Do you like historical facts? Do you like mythological stories? You know, so you understand what I'm saying? Any and everyone out there who reads a lot, they too would tell you the same thing. I can never give you a definitive one answer and say, oh, my all-time favorite book. Yeah, they may have books that they love, but if you really talk to that person, them too would say, that's almost like a loaded question, because I could never answer one book. I done read many books. I read books that made me laugh. I made books that made me cry. I made books that really put me deep in thought and made me not read another chapter because I was so deep in thought. Man, that's amazing how that happened. That kind of happened to me. I've read books that make me go get another book. You know what I'm saying? People that read, they know what I'm talking about. I've read books that made me go, ooh, I got to get another book just like this book. I've read books that made me go, you know what? I got to get another book by that author. I got to get another book like that book. I got to get more books to read to keep me from watching this goofy thing all the time. It's so many things why people read. I love it when I hear about people reading. It's another video of mine. It's called Why I Love to Read. Got to remember, folks, there was a time when there was no reason for people to read. Yeah, crazy as that may sound. Look at the video. You'll understand a lot more. Only people that was reading was the priests. That's why people thought they were so ordained. They could only speak to God because they could speak their language. Is that crazy that sound? Only the priest could understand what's in those books. Most people were farmers, soldiers, killers or something like that. There was no reason to read. So once you did stuff, or if you was a person of rich status, then you were forced to read by your family. You had to be intelligent to some degree. But back to my point. What is your favorite book? Well, I love the statement my wife said. It's almost like when someone say, what's your favorite movie? Don't you like comedy movies? Like action movies? You like drama movies? Family-oriented movies? You like kid movies with your kids, right? So you can never say, oh, this is my favorite. Because if you ever did say, this is your favorite, somebody else could say, but what about this movie? Or somebody else in your family. Remember we watched this movie together? We was all cracking up. Oh, yeah. That was funny, too. That was funny. That was real funny. Same thing with books. You may say, this was my favorite book. That was my favorite book. But then the more you think about it, you be like, but I got some valuable lessons out of this book. Man, I got some incredible lessons out of that book. Ooh, boy, did I get some good information out of this. Man, I go back and forth with this book. You see what I'm saying? I could go on and on with this, but remember, next time you hear that statement, it's not the first time you heard it. You've been hearing it on the news, in movies, out and about. You just never had a magnet to it. But now, maybe I'm the one that make you have a magnet to it. The next time you hear me like, yo, he said that in the video. I heard on the, you're going to hear it tonight, probably. You've been hearing it. It's just that you didn't have a reason to pay attention to it. And that statement is a loaded question. What is a loaded question? It's kind of like being sneaky, but a better way to give you a definition for it, it's like when someone's asking you something and they have a hidden agenda behind that question. Or another way to put it is when someone asking you something different and wanting to answer without being so obvious of what they really want to ask you. Another way to put it is how parents gotta ask their lying teenagers, oh, so you're gonna be honest with me today? Is that what you're telling me? You're telling me you're gonna be honest today. So you're not gonna lie to me today. You tell me you're gonna tell me the truth. Oh, today you're gonna tell me the truth, huh? Okay. See, that's a loaded question. Parent already know. It's like what Judge Judy said so many times. You know when teenagers are lying? When their mouths are moving. Anytime they open their mouth, it's just lying. So just think, I just thought I'd hit you with that one. But ultimately, what's your favorite book? Like my wife said, what's your favorite movie? I'm sure you got many. Especially if you're a person of variety. You're a person that loves to keep learning. That's a statement a lot of y'all should start saying. Next time someone say to you, hey, how you doing? Hey, what's going on? Man, how you been? Instead of saying the same stuff, we always say stuff like, oh, I'm all good. It's all good. And same old, same old. Start saying stuff different, like still learning. Especially if you're watching videos like this. Listen how this transpires, right? I approach the guy. I ain't seen this guy in a while. And this guy says to me, hey, man, how you doing, man? How you been, man? You know what my response is? Hey, man, I'm doing good, man. Still learning. Still learning. Because think about it, aren't we? We should be learning from the cradle to the grave. Never stop learning. What's your favorite book? I have many, depending on what the subject you want to talk about. Peace.